Is Friedrich Nietzsche, along about 1885, wrote a book titled The Birth of Tragedy. And in there, he said that cultures tend to swing between one of two perspectives. On the one hand, we have an Apollonian perspective, which is very crisp and premeditated and intellectualized and perfect. On the other end of the spectrum, we have a Dionysian perspective, which is more given to the passions and intuition, tolerant of organic texture and human gesture.
We tend to think of Cubism more in terms of geometry and structure. The truth is that it is a technological art. It's involved with what we've come to know as the Industrial Revolution, and we've forgotten the revolution part of it.
Photography was increasingly being used for portraiture and to document historical and everyday events, so it was only natural for painters to turn to other themes.
Marcel Duchamp would push the machine metaphor even further. Before giving up art for chess, Duchamp had played with every existing art movement and predicted a number of those to come.
Perhaps his most controversial work was Nude Descending a Staircase. It's an abstract representation of a figure walking down a flight of stairs, but it's painted in a manner as if it were capturing the figure in time-lapse motion. Traditionally, painting or sculpture depicting movement, no matter how realistic or energetic, were essentially moments frozen in time. Duchamp acknowledged the influence of the stop-action photography of Edward Muybridge and the stroboscopic work of Etienne Jules Marais, but rendered it all in a Cubist effect.
Duchamp's Nude Descending a Staircase was already in the eye of a storm, since it had received some scathing criticism from many other Cubist artists, including Duchamp's brother. Les Demoiselles d'Avignon was one of the major works to inspire the movement. If you look closely at this painting, you'll see that the women's faces look like abstract African masks. In fact, Picasso was heavily influenced by masks from sub-Saharan Africa, and his work took on a primitivist character.
But we have to remember that that smile was not meant to be an expression of emotion, of happiness, but rather a symbol of well-being.
And that smile gives the figure a sense of being transcendent, a sense of being ideal, of not engaging in the world of emotion and difficulty, but somehow rising above all that. And so that makes sense for a figure that was a goddess or a figure that represented ideal femininity.
Common characteristics seen in Cubist paintings and sculpture are the liberal use of geometric forms, distorted and fragmented objects, and multiple perspectives of the same scene. These same ideas influenced early 20th century literature and shaped the styles of authors such as Gertrude Stein, William Faulkner, and Guillaume Apollinaire. Modernist literature drew inspiration from the multiple perspectives and disjointed figures of Cubist paintings, applying similar ideas to their stories through the use of repetition, abstract language, and multiple narrators. Igor Stravinsky's music mirrored the innovations of visual Cubist art with its chaotic ragtime rhythms.
Braque's father was a painter-decorator, and it was he who taught Picasso and Braque how to make these kind of low art forms like faubourg and stenciling. These were techniques that were not taught in the fine arts academies of the day. They were taught by the painter-decorators. They were essentially ways of embellishing the common household. Faubourg is simply fake wood grain. So Braque here has painted this guitar, and then he's dragged a house painter's comb through it to make those wavy lines simulating the wood grain. Their favorite bar was the Austin Fox Bar in Paris, which sold British Bass ale. So you'll often see references to Bass. You'll see references to their newspapers, Le Journal, or here, Le Petit Parisien. These are the newspapers that they're reading on a daily basis. So they're taking fragments of their daily reality and showing it to you in a new way. This is the excitement of Cubism, the reordering of reality.
Then this is a house based on a Budweiser can. It doesn't look like a can of beer, but the design takeoffs are absolutely unmistakable. The barley hops design worked up into the eaves. Then the dental work comes directly off the can. It's red, white, blue, and silver. Then these corbels going down underneath the eaves are that little design that comes off the can. I just put a can on a copier and kept enlarging it until I got the size I want.
And one famous architect, years later, stopped me, brought me to his offices, was rather superb offices in London, and said to me, you know, we run Blade Runner about once a month, because he said, when I saw Blade Runner, the evolution of the beauty and technology suddenly became very apparent, which is where the building can wear the guts on the outside, and the guts become part of the decoration.
So the way the Apollonian personality takes a picture, or hangs a picture, is they'll get out a transit and a laser level and a micrometer. Okay, honey, 1/1000th of an inch to the left, that's where we want the picture. Right, perfect. Predicated on plumb, level, square, and centered. The Dionysian personality takes the picture and goes,